The digital wallet revolution would have us use our phone for everything. But what if all you needed was your hand? I'm Joel McConvey. Today on the Biometric Update Podcast, I talk with Janis Stirna, CEO of Handwave, a company that's exploring the possibilities in palm biometrics. Janis, thank you for joining us today. Can you introduce us to Handwave, both the technology and sort of the recent history of the company in terms of developments and investment?
Yes, so I'm coming from the payments industry. I worked there more than 9 years in the big corporations like Worldline, which is the biggest payment company in the Europe, and afterwards I was responsible for the IT management in Luminor Bank, which is one of the biggest in the region in Baltics. About all acquiring and issuing services. So yeah, payment background. And 3 years ago, we found out that the industry is moving towards the big innovation, meaning biometric payments. And that's where we started our journey in terms of the Handwave. At the beginning, at slow pace, because knowing how the industry is working, that it's conservative on that harsh innovations, and that you need to build a product which really makes sense for the whole industry. We did bootstrapping phase, but afterwards we found out that we are building a brilliant product and solution for the whole market, where the consumers will be capable to do payment just by using their palm scanning. So meaning without devices, cards, or any kind of items what you usually are bringing with you when you're going to the stores. So yeah.
All right. So that's a deep bet on biometrics. You've referred to sort of pure biometrics as the place we want to get to. So can you tell me about the model that you have? It's a unique model, right? It uses both palm shape and vein structure.
Yes, so basically we are building our own technology, and when consumer shows the palm, we are doing kind of two-factor authentication by multiple different algorithms, which takes the vein structure, the vein depth, the liveness checks in multiple ways, like for example, blood rotation. Then on top of that, we are checking the skin surface, the geometry of the palm, the size, and so on, so on. And basically, from all of this information, we are combining multiple unique hash codes, which are generated at that particular place where consumers shop the palms. Meaning, we are not sending any photo or video to our backend, but basically, we are just sending the pure hash codes. As we are based in Europe and we are under the GDPR laws, basically, we really need to always consider the security of the data in much securest way possible. And yeah, in that way, basically, each of the consumer get unique ID code, which is stored in our systems, and afterwards we are linking to the systems together with payments, loyalties, ID or passports to do instant age verifications, and offering that convenience for the consumer, that wherever our solution is integrated, they can use their palm basically to access the whole ecosystem that we have built. And why we are bullish on the fact that biometric payment is the next thing is because at first, if you are looking in history, then humanity is always eager to find the next more convenient solution. It was similar like it was with cards or the contactless payments, because in theory there was not a problem at all with the cards, right? But industry understood that like you can do it in much more convenient way, much more faster as well, much more secure. So everyone currently is using the wallets based on contactless technology and so on. And the same forecasts currently is regarding the biometric payments, which comes from the big industry players like Visa and MasterCard. And And of course, it will take a time. User adoption is a process which industry again needs to go through it. That's why we are the long-term company. We are not going to any shortcuts for any, let's say, product type of implementations and so on. But we are working closely together with the whole industry, basically, to understand the best way how to integrate and so on.
Thank you for that. In terms of the hardware required to do a palm scan, is this something that is adaptable for a mobile phone, or is it now sort of a custom scanner? Do you have plans to make it mobile in the future? How does it operate?
Our technology supports both. Basically, the whole consumer onboarding will happen through their mobile phones, and afterwards, the payments could happen like as well coming from the mobile phones, or which could be interesting for the small merchants, definitely, or on device, which will be plug and play together with cash registers, post terminals, legacy ones or the new ones. It doesn't matter, and we are as well investing the money in our hardware to make it as efficient as possible, with an idea to uh, to have very, very strong software part in terms of the AI algorithms and the machine learning models that we are as well have developed by ourselves. So the hardware cost could be reduced as much as possible.
Payments tend to be sort of the leader in a lot of respects in terms of people adopting new technology. As you mentioned, the contactless payments that sort of has driven a lot of other things. So payments is obviously a focus for Handwave to begin, but there are definitely other use cases. Can you tell me a bit more about something like a secondary use case like age verification?
Yes, we are the use case we are splitting in our company in a bit different way. Payment itself is a one big use case, but it comes together with instant loyalty and instant age verification. So it's like combined experience for the consumer because consumer will onboard through our application, meaning they will download the Handwave application, they will go through the KYC. So we know that the consumer is really the consumer, and during the KYC steps, they will need to add their ID or passport card, similar like it is when you're currently registering in any of now banks. And when it's done, the consumers will be capable to add credit cards, debit cards, and loyalty cards. Regarding the payment cards itself, we have enabled all the Visa and Mastercard cards already. So in that sense, and when consumer adds the card, they need to go through the 3D authentication, meaning that it's again we are like doing validation checks that consumer really is consumer. And when the consumer goes to the store, then they can do palm scanning and instant loyalty with instant identification comes together with payment. And of course, that brings a lot of benefits for the retailers and different kind of merchants. So, and of course, knowing that the solution is made for the whole industry itself, it can be implemented in other markets in the world. At the same time, this technology can be used in multiple industries, like public transportation, going to the events, access controls. Like 2 years ago, we validated the product across the world in multiple regions and countries, and you would be surprised what kind of ideas from the industry came to us in terms of Handwave implementation. It was very wild and wide, yeah, very wide industry parts, and they like payments into the automobiles, like and so on. Casinos even came to us, and then and so on. So yeah, very very unified platform, I would say, and definitely we will not stop with the payments, because the idea is to be a one place where when the consumer has did the registration, they can basically do everything in their daily life where they're using applications, wallets, or cards. So it becomes a unified identification platform. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you get out there, the use cases that people are able to sort of spin out, they're pretty much infinite. Someone can find a use case anywhere.
Exactly, and that is our goal, because like why we're building this solution, it's really bring very nice convenience for the consumer, because consumers is already using Apple Pay and Google Pay and like fingerprints and face recognition on their device, because it's stored in the like the controlled environment, which is owned by them. But it brings convenience, and that's why people are using it. But at the same time, face recognition cannot be used for the payments for the mass usage, because it's still an ethical issue. Like imagine if there would be commerce all around the streets scanning your face because you have given your data to all third-party companies, and you don't know if they are now scanning or not scanning and so on. But with the palm scan, it's controlled environment. It's your decision to make the action and put the palm at like particular place. And if you're looking forward to 5-10 years, especially for the new generation, from which like the device is already like old school thing, it brings convenience, it brings security, cannot be frauded, right? Cannot be stolen. You don't need to show your passport to strangers like anywhere like where you are going, and you are saving your time, in a lot of places in checkouts and so on, and you have one place for everything, so it just makes sense from all the perspectives, and that's why we are keen to implement this solution in the long term, basically everywhere, where the industry is saying that it makes sense.
So it's a bold pitch, and I know you've been traveling around a lot to sort of shop it. Can you talk to me a bit about the importance of testing this in live settings and taking it and showing it to people?
It is very important, and that's why currently we are in the year of focusing to have the production pilots as soon as possible. We have agreements in place with the industry, and we are already like integrating the solution to have the pilots in the Baltics, because what we are feeling that people love the product, like wherever we are going, and they are keen to start to use it and see it in reality, in the real life. Because sometimes for the people, they're thinking it's like a sci-fi, like similar like it was in cards when everyone used the cash. Like what is one plastic card? Like what is that, right? And then after 10, 15 years, everyone is using that, and similar like it is with now, because it's like a bit psychological barrier for the consumers to understand that you could use it with all your device via biometrics. But after the second time, when they try it out, it will become as a normal habit for them. So yeah, it's very important, this aspect, and that's why we're working hard to have the pilots as soon as possible.
You mentioned that the sort of sci-fi aspect. I think, when we talk about cards, the transition was a little slower, and now technology tends to move on a very steep curve. So you're definitely going to have people who are freaked out about this, and typically the concerns are data security and privacy. So you mentioned hashing. Can you go a little bit more deeply into how you address those concerns, and also maybe speak a bit about being a European country and having to sort of operate under the auspices of the GDPR?
Yeah, the fact that we are from Europe actually automatically brings the fact that I think we'll be one of the most regulated companies in the world from multiple aspects. We are going through so much certification phase where we are preparing currently, and it ultimately means that everything from the scratch what we are building, we are like implementing the security aspect, like security and compliance aspect in all the processes, in all the applications, the technology itself, and as well like the consumer onboarding will happen and what will be support and so on. It's good that we are coming from finance industry, so it's nothing new for us. But like we are going this one step forward, that it will be like state of the art compliance and security. And we definitely understood that there will be a consumers who will express some doubts about this on this sci-fi part, which is normal and understandable, and that's how it should be. Like a lot of people, a lot of opinions, and our homework is to explain. Is explain and the guide the humanity itself that like this is the next era of technologies, and as we are taking liabilities about your data, that we need to present how we are dealing with your data, and still that you have a full control of your data, and without your real activity, we will not be capable to do anything with your data, because like the whole system is structured in multiple parts, where this hash code is just one piece of the whole journey. Like even if I would get your hash data, I would not be capable to anything with it. And that is very important for us. On top of that, we are working like with big partners, meaning collaboration with Visa. With them, we have went through the phase where the technical validations has been done, and we enabled the card ecosystem, and as well, I think it just shows like how carefully we are looking at those things, and working together with the industry, like to put everything together in the very best way. So yeah,
it's funny, I think as is often the case, the kind of core product is trust, and communication is really such a key piece in terms of making your product understandable and digestible to people. How do you approach that? Do you have a branding strategy when you talk about Handwave? How do you sort of speak about the company in a way that is clear and communicative and achieves your goals?
We started our, let's say, brand activities in the professional way just some 5 months ago, and we have started like with more the way that we are talking about convenience and the benefits of the solution itself, so the consumer at first understand that like this is the solution which brings good things for them, and of course like we are including a lot as well, like all of the information about security and compliance, like for example in our website, in our articles, like press releases and so on. But at the same time, it's not the only thing that we are talking about, because like innovating such a product actually requires to work not only with hypotheses about security and compliance, but as well like does it really make sense for the consumers, for the businesses, like for the industry itself, and it's not only about security, it's about as well like how easy the solution can be integrated with the merchants and the retailers, or acquiring banks and the post terminals, like or with the fact that it can be enabled everywhere in the world, especially with collaboration of Visa. Basically, in any region in the world, we can in lightweight way enable our solution, and so on. A brand is very important aspect, because sometimes for the companies it's that you are building extreme nice solution and extreme nice product, but no one knows about it, right? There are other examples as well which are not made making that cool of the product that people are using just because of the brand and marketing, because it's always appears in front of your eyes. So we are going into this middle that we are building very, very cool stuff, and then we are using the brand strategy to tell people that this is very nice thing.
I have to imagine a partnership with Visa or any kind of connection with Visa is a helpful tool in building trust. That's a very familiar, trusted name. And so, the more you attach yourself to those partnerships and build those networks, the more you sort of inherit some of their trust in an ambient way.
Yes, of course it helps. Of course it helps. But our goal always was, and when we started the company itself, it was that we need to validate the concept as hard as possible. And that's why, as well, 3 years ago, when the first idea started to appear, we went to issuing banks, acquiring banks, regulators in the Baltic states, and just to understand the feedback. And that's how it involved. And of course, with the big corporations, it goes in the way that if they think that the product is useful for the market and it brings the benefits for the whole industry, of course as well, they would like to help, in some kind of ways, inform industry about it, and as well participate in some press releases and so on, and becomes a bit collaborative work. That's where we are at the moment, and of course I think it's very helpful.
So what's the next step in the company's evolution in terms of both development, in terms of funding? Where are you going next?
Definitely it's United States. As in the Europe, currently we have everything on the place where the first pilots will happen, and then we can go country by country and so on. But what we are seeing is United States is the next market where we are entering into it, because of, I would say, even consumer habits. Digital wallet adoption is very high, and people are using biometric data already on their phones to access those wallets, and as well, the market itself, because as I said, there are so much of the retailers and the industry players who are keen for the innovations, and as well, that's why I'm in Chicago right now, meeting with multiple retailers here, which have expressed their interest in our solution, and could become as the first ones here in the United States to pilot this solution. That requires funding, and we are looking on that. Even we just raised 6 months ago the seed round funding. We are definitely ready for the next one, and that's why we are already starting the discussions. And then afterwards, of course, it's the other regions.
Well, it sounds like a plan, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Chicago, and I look forward to seeing what happens with Handwave and where the company can go.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks again to Handwave's Janis Stirna for popping in to talk palms. To learn more about the company, check out handwave.com. And for more on all the latest biometrics and digital identity news, be sure to check out www.biometricupdate.com.